The management of the Paria Fuel Trading Company decided it was too risky to mount a rescue mission to save 4 divers trapped in a 30-inch subsea pipeline, even though there were divers willing to try.
Paria would have advised divers that it's unsafe to enter.
Did Paria take steps to prevent divers from going into the pipeline?
Elaborate on the word prevent.
You really need advice on the word prevent.
Yes.
Okay,
let me explain. Prevent could either mean don't go. Prevent could mean, as is alluded in newspaper with Coast Guard, preventing. Paria did not prevent people from entering the pipeline. Had they done that, there would not have been the continued divers diving without past Paria's request to not continue diving because it was unsafe.
That's what the ongoing Commission of Inquiry heard from Michael Way, Paria's technical and maintenance manager, when he testified on Thursday last week. The proceedings are investigating the drowning deaths of Faisal Kurban, Yusuf Henry, Kazim Ali Jr., and Rishi Nagasa in February of this year. The 4 men and Christopher Boudram, the lone survivor, were repairing a faulty component when a differential pressure hazard caused a vacuum along the pipeline, sucking the men in. Way, responsible for logistics in Paria's incident management team, which was assembled after the divers went missing, said that the no rescue assessment held even after Boudram had been pulled out of the pipeline alive by divers reportedly acting against the instructions of Paria and Coast Guard officials. Way said that it was the responsibility of Land and Marine Construction Services, the men's employer, to have an emergency response plan for the 5 divers should the need arise. Paria, Way said, trusted the expertise of LMCS in this regard. He admitted that Paria had asked the Coast Guard to help the company prevent rescue-minded divers from entering the pipeline.
Are you aware that Paria instructed the Coast Guard not to allow persons to dive into the pipeline?
Paria advised Coast Guard to take control of the site because it was getting what's the word to use? This uncontrollable.
The question is, I want your answer. Are you aware that Paria instructed the Coast Guard to prevent persons from diving into the pipeline?
Paria requested the Coast Guard to assist. To assist people from not entering the pipeline, but not prevent them.
Senior counsel Ramesh Maharaj, representing the commission, kept pressing Way on the issue, reading a witness statement to try to clarify exactly who was responsible for preventing other divers from attempting a rescue of the trapped men.
After discussions between myself and the general manager about apparently volatile situation developing at the scene, he and I agreed that the TTCJ should take control of the site, safeguard Paria Kensan personnel, and take control of the ongoing rescue operations. This would include preventing the LMCS divers from entering the pipeline. Mustak therefore made this request of the TTCJ in my presence. Would you agree with that?
That Colin Piper asked the Coast Guard, which after discussion between myself and the general manager about the apparently volatile situation developing at the scene, he and I agreed that the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard should take control of the site, safeguard Paria's Kensan personnel, and take control of ongoing rescue operations. This would include preventing the LMCS divers from entering the pipeline. Right? This is Paria making a request to the Coast Guard to take control of the site
and
prevent divers from entering the pipeline. That was a request.
Yes. Do you agree with that statement?
I agree that was a request to the Coast Guard.
Do you agree with the statement Mr. Colin Piper made there that you're reading?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what Colin Piper would have read, but I would say I agree with the intent.
Okay. Mr. Way, were you aware that there were divers prepared to go into that pipeline to rescue the men during the time you and Paria officials were looking for video and boroscope and crawler?
I knew there were divers on the site who could have been available to dive.
Way said that it was deemed too risky to attempt a rescue dive since nobody knew the exact location of the trapped divers, nor did anyone know the quantity of oil in the pipeline. Quote, to send someone inside that line without knowing, that would be reckless, Way said, explaining that a thorough risk assessment would have needed to be conducted before directing another diver into the line. Quote, you need to know if there are obstructions and if there are hazards and what hazards are there in the line. The COE has 2 more sets of hearings scheduled for 2022, the week of December 5th and the week of December 16th, after which hearings will resume in January 2023.